Welcome to A&B Horror Movies. I'm Aaron, and I'm very excited to be joined today by Sander Maran. Sander, welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
I'm very excited to have you on this show. So, you are the mastermind behind Chainsaws Were Singing, an all-out bonkers, wildly entertaining horror comedy slasher musical, and I loved every second of it.
Sei solo!
So, I can't wait to chat with you about your new film today.
Okay, I mean that's flattering. I'd say it's a bit too long, but it's cool of
Oh,
you to
man.
say that you enjoyed each second. I have to sort of excuse my backdrop over here. We're getting kicked out of our Estonian theatrical run, and we had like five or six of these, and so I'm pretty much living in a warehouse because we they decided to give it all back, and now I just basically my room has all sorts of
Oh,
posters and stuff in it. So
I
that's
think
where
it
the
looks
backdrop.
fantastic. And you have the poster
I'm
right there
grateful.
for Chainsaws Were Singing. If you hadn't said anything, I would have thought you planned it. I think it looks perfect. Let's see. So, like I said, I loved your film. I guess my first question for you is, how did this film come about? How did it get started many years ago? I understand it's been in the makings for multiple years.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at this was back in 2013. We shot it in the summer of 2013.
Hmm.
We've been making a bunch of short films from like high school. That's year 2007 to, yeah, starting from 2007 something. And so I think it was like six or seven short films. One of them was called Curiosity Kills, which we did in film school, where I think I was there for about a year. And it was about a killer radioactive rat who kills a little kid's family, basically. It's a splatter horror kind of film. And we had some success with international festivals with it, and especially the Méliès Federation festivals. And
Okay.
so it was sort of a logical next chapter to try to do a feature film. Bought a camera for the first
It's
time
a
in
good
my life,
start.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and basically it was just us friends. It was there was like four producers, my brother, one of my friends, and one of my other friend is
Hmm.
one of them was played the Tom character in the film. The second one you probably saw in the chainsaw ass kill sequence. He was responsible for the
Yes. How could I forget that? Yes.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was just a guerrilla film shoot, which took about 64 days. And yeah, we were young, stupid. I think it was 22 at the time. So basically, all
Oh,
of the
wow.
juvenile ideas you would have at that age, we just put it into the film. And yeah, so we ended up shooting it just fully guerrilla style with no budget. I think our budget was something close to El Mariachi. Um, yeah, I'm sort of dozing off here in terms of giving a straight answer, but
No, I
that
think
was a
that's great.
long time ago.
So you mentioned that it was, I guess I would say, a family affair. What was it like getting your family members and other actors? So I guess the casting process, and how did you sell that we're going to make, think Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Phantom of the Paradise meets Return of the Living Dead 3, because there's a love story in the mix. Chainsaws, blood, music, and a love story, man. I think you covered all the essential bases there. Anyway, so my question is, how did you get family members involved, and what was the casting process like for those who were not perhaps
I
part of
mean,
your family or friend
we
circle?
were just a bunch of friends, so everyone was in instantly. We were sort of fortunate in the sense that in the summer of 2013, everybody had just magically had some free time on their hands. The next summer
Hmm.
they were busy, so we managed to shoot it. I had written the script, by the way. The previous short film scripts I had always written in high school,
Hmm.
in like a classroom where the teacher was giving their sort of boring lectures, and I would escape into my papers and script writing. So once I had to write the script for
I'm sure your
Chainsaws,
teachers love to hear that, right? Your old teachers.
I mean, they were
Go
aware.
ahead.
They were aware.
Okay,
Anyway,
okay.
when I was faced with the task of writing the script for Chainsaws, I just
Hmm.
could not focus at home. So I ended up totally crashing in a public university lectures, basically, just masquerading as a student there with a laptop. And that's how, for 2 months, I wrote the script in a university where I
Oh
was
my
not
gosh.
enrolled as a student.
That's
Uh,
fantastic. So you would just show up and go to the classes and not pay attention,
yes.
but work on your script?
And it was such a relief just knowing that you don't give a shit about the exams or whatever. All of the other people were nervous. Oh no, we have some homework to do. But I was just free of that and could escape into my little stupid writing
So I have
process.
to ask, were there moments though when you're writing, you're like your ears sort of you pick up on what they're teaching and think, wow, this is kind of interesting, and then go right
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to your
yeah. There
script
were
or
some cultural things, or what is it, semiotics? Is that a word in English? Yeah, there were some interesting days where I didn't write anything and was just listening to what the lecturer had to say.
that's
But
amazing.
yeah, getting back to the point,
Mhm.
basically all of my friends, they had been involved in previous short film projects as well, so they were like an easy yes, we'll do it. And some of the actors we had a casting for, but some we just sort of found out of just asking around. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's how we shot it.
Oh, that's so cool. So you mentioned that I'm still processing the fact that you're just going to university lectures and working on your script. I love that. Um, I know that you mentioned that you filmed it in 2013 and it's now many years later. Can you speak to the post-production process? And did you have any idea that it would take as long as it did?
Absolutely not. Okay, so I have to even. So yeah, just for folks who don't know, the post production process took 10 years, which is
Mhm.
ridiculous. I
That's
had to
crazy.
sort of back in 2012. Me and the same Askill guy, Jan, who also did the gore effects for the film, we were at the Swedish Lund Film Festival with the short film I mentioned with the killer rat. And there I met Timo Vuorensola, who's the guy who did Iron Sky.
Okay.
And
Oh, yes. Wow.
yeah,
Cool.
and so basically we were just hanging around with fellow filmmakers. I won't name drop more, but anyway, Timo said that he's sort of a wisdom for the first debut feature that you're going to do. So the first film, the only true asset you're going to have is time. So basically, just don't rush it, and basically you're never going to have the amount of time in the future as you do in with your first film. And I totally shrugged it off as bad advice and said, no, I'm going to do mine fast. So we're going to shoot it over one summer, and it's going to be ready for the next year's Fantastic Film Festival in Estonia. Yeah, that really did not happen. So it's one of the most ironic pieces of advice I've ever received. Anyway, what happened with post was
Mhm.
once we shot the footage, which, like I said, was 64 days of shooting, and I ended up with like 8,000 video files, which is like
Wow.
160 hours of footage. So it took me like 2.5 months just to organize and rename the files, and
Oh
then
my
it
gosh.
took me like two. It all comes down to me being a really crappy director, and we hadn't done any pre-production. But yeah, it was. Let me just give you a quick one. 2 years of editing, then about I'd say 3 years of sound design, then 1 year of VFX, then which there's 350 VFX shots in the film.
Mhm.
Then another two
Oh my
years for
gosh.
color correction because we had shot it on the most the cheapest, crappiest video cameras you could find. I think it was a Canon 60D, which in the US is Rebel something,
Hmm.
which was a cheap one even in 2013. And then another 2 years of musical orchestration, which man, I looked around for like 5 years trying to find a guy who would, or a person who would orchestrate the little songs I had written. But
Hmm.
just everyone said that no, it just can't be done. There's so much work to be done here. Plus, we didn't have a budget, so I ended up doing
Yeah.
that myself as well, which I had to learn from scratch basically. So that
Oh my
gives you
gosh.
10 years.
Wow. Well, wow. That's amazing. I'm sure you, like you said, you didn't think it would take that long, but I think the final product speaks for all the effort that you
Yeah.
put into it over
There's a
time.
lot of love
I,
and yeah, tears put into it, the
oh,
final
for
process.
sure. And it shows. I can't speak highly enough
Yeah,
um,
I appreciate
about your film. So you mentioned the music. I have to ask, so how much you must have had all the songs written ahead of time. What was it like filming the musical scenes? And then I guess the post-production with the music, did you have to re-record the music? Did you have the actors have to come back to re-sing the songs like in a studio? I mean, I'm asking this because I don't really know what the process is like, to be honest.
yeah, so that's yes, 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 and yes.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
so where do we start? I had written the songs. Some of the songs I even wrote like without a piano. I don't have a musical background. I can't really read or write sheet music, but I dabble in piano since I don't know 10 years old.
Okay.
So some of the songs I lecture room just with no music whatsoever, just in my head. But some of them I had recorded on a piano. Anyway, we had these piano demos basically, which we would call the poor man's demo because okay, for context, the Book of Mormon had just come out on Broadway by Trey Parker, Matt Stone, and Bobby
Oh
Lopez.
yeah, I've seen that.
So
Yes,
we
yeah.
were huge fans of that musical, and they
Hmm.
had their demos were like really high quality, and so we had to name ours just Poor Man's Demo. So when we shot the film, we basically, yeah, it was an old school method of lip syncing and just doing a lot of takes to get it right. Uh, Also, for context, the Les Mis film had just come out in 2012 or
Yes.
13, I
Yep.
don't know. So,
Hmm.
and there they shot it all live, which we considered doing, but in the end decided, no, it's just going to be too much hustle.
Hmm.
So once we'd shot all the footage, I edited it together, and then that's why it took so long in the studio because some of it had to be resung in the studio. There's lot of editing and correction work and tuning to get the. I mean, the performers were all great, of course, but there's a lot of post production work in every possible facet you could imagine. Does
Wow.
that
Will
answer?
you? Yeah, yeah, no, I think
That's
that's a great
too much
answer.
stuff.
Will you ever do another musical again after after going through it? You don't have to answer that, but
I mean, will I ever do another movie again? It's just the filmmaking process
yeah, sure.
back in the day seemed like such a small, like a really smaller effort, basically. Now,
Hmm.
having done each and every single little mouse click on a film you could do, it's sort of, do I want to do that again? I'm kind of hoping that I could sort of, yeah, find a
I
workflow
hope
where I could
so.
delegate
Yeah.
something and
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely, right? You can get more help now. Now that you've made this fantastic film, your future projects, you can have teams helping you. Fingers crossed,
Yeah.
man.
I mean,
I
we
hope
did
that
have a
happens.
team. We did have a team, and
No,
we
I
did
know,
have
but a bigger team, let's say. But yes, go ahead.
mm, yeah. So, like I said, our main producer crew consists of two of my brothers and
Hmm.
one actor who's the main lead and the Askill guy. And a fun fact:
The
if you
Askill
recall
guy.
having seen the film, the little boy with the crossbow, yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
So he was 12. He's my younger brother Peter. He was 12 when we shot it, and then he ended up finishing grade school, high school, university, and his mandatory military conscription thing. last year, as a grown-up, as a 23-year-old, he decided to join our production team as a grown-up. So it's kind of cool.
That's
So now
awesome.
he's like the fifth producer. We call him the post-production producer.
I did see a few clips with your brother, and it's amazing. He's all grown up. Did
Yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
he has this youthful energy, which is amazing because yeah, he had a major epiphany thinking that okay, wow, I'm the same age as these guys were when they shot the film, and so he basically wanted to do something as well on the
Yeah,
film. So I'm really
maybe
grateful for him for joining the team.
that's amazing. Um, let's see. I do want to talk a little bit about the gore because there are plenty of kill scenes. Can you speak to what it was like bringing those to life, and how many different kinds of blood did you have to use to accomplish the incredible kills in your movie?
Nice. Okay, so again, I have to give a shout out to the gore effects specialist Jan, who was the in the
Hmm.
film you saw him chainsaw up his
Yes.
ass. He did most of the blood and gore work. We developed basically just systems with what do you call it, hoses or I don't know, with like a garden pump that you would mostly use for watering the plants in your
Yeah.
garden or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah. Sure. Like a water hose.
And
Yeah.
we taped it. Yeah, yeah. That's why in most of the kills, the people have always have some sort of clothing on their body because that way you could hide the hoses. So
Ah.
yeah, it was just a bunch of taping it on your body and just sinking it so you would just sort of pump it at the right moment, and a bunch of just messing around and inventing stuff. And I wouldn't say the film is so gore heavy even as, but it's just physical humor like slapstick. I love the genre,
Yes.
the derivation from slapstick. Which it's an old Sam Raimi idea, but just you want to do some just physical gags or gimmicks, which are not just drama filmmaking, but just
Hmm.
invent fun little things on the way.
Yes.
Um, yeah, but anyway, we wanted to do practical effects. Back in the day, we didn't even consider doing a whole lot of visual effects, so that's why it has this retro feel that it's mostly done practically, and the visual effects are so horrible that they look like cartoonish even, which I think kind of adds to the aesthetics of the film.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so. And the blood that is there, it's done in a smart and effective way. It's not
yeah. Oh yeah.
um,
But you ask how
gratuitous.
many?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, how many?
and
Do you know how much blood and what different kinds of blood you made for the film?
yeah. So that's the thing. Our production was like a complete war zone and a mess. So naturally, we have no way of tallying how much blood we actually ended up with. But we did have, let's say, there was this the types of blood. There was a little thing on your cheek, uh,
Hmm.
blood. Then there was edible blood. Then there was the sprinkling kind, and then there was the bucket full, which we
Buckets
would
of
just
blood.
throw a bucket of blood in Peter's face.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. Did you sweeten the blood for the actors so it wasn't so it
Yes,
tasted
the
good, I
blood
guess?
was uh, the blood was brewed together by Jan again. It
Mm.
consisted mostly of syrup, the cheapest you could find, and ketchup, the cheapest you could find. The main component was red food coloring. So it was borderline poisonous, but not exactly. And the edible bits we tried to be less poisonous.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Hopefully they signed a waiver saying they weren't that you weren't responsible for any ailments. Um,
No,
gosh.
by the way, yeah, that's a fun fact. We shot it. We didn't have a company for the film or anything. Basically, just a bunch of bros shooting a film in the forest. So I think it was 5 years after the fact that we formed our film company, Maran Bros, and that's when we got the signatures for the actors, like 5 years after the shooting.
Oh, well, at least you
So it
got
was
them, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
covered. You're covered there. Um, Gosh, let's see. There's a scene in the film that is, I guess, referred to as a chainsaw solo, which uh, I love that part. Can you talk a little bit about that? And was that always in the script? Um, and I guess for those who haven't
Yes.
seen your film, what is a chainsaw solo?
I think the joke can be said that it's borrowed or influenced by Cannibal the Musical, where just
Hmm,
out of the blue a guy says cowbell solo, and then there's this beep, 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 beep. Plus
more
there was a
cowbell.
fart
Yes.
solo in South Park's Bigger, Longer, Uncut with Terrence and Phillip.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
the main thing is we wanted to make a film that would basically it's an exploitation film all the way through. The songs are there just so we can entertain the audiences for like 2 or 3 minutes. Naturally, when I knew I had to make a jolly killing song with a main killer character who's actually named Killer, and so it was a
Yes.
logical next step for to have him just do a full out chainsaw solo. But the melody for the chainsaw solo and the practical execution I had to invent after the fact. So when we were shooting it, he just thought he was doing like a electric guitar solo thingy. So I composed the melody, if you will, in 2018.
Hmm. Well, it worked flawlessly. I love that in the film. Um, let's see. So I know that you have been touring your film at festivals. What has it been like with live audiences, witnessing the film while you are present? What has that been like?
Gosh, I mean, what can I say? It's just nothing short of a miracle, but just it feels amazing because for 10 years I was here alone, just hoping that it would make sense, and just now having experienced the film as uh, for the first thing with Estonian audiences, but now with I don't know the US audience, and we were in Austria, in Spain, in Canada. It basically works wherever you go, but differently because some people get the European geography jokes, some people don't. And bukkake is a thing that, for some reason, the US audiences get right away, but in Europe, it took them some time to get the
Mm.
joke. So yeah, it's been amazing because that's sort of that's why I make movies. Just I want to
Mm.
hear laughter, and I think
Yeah, go ahead.
horror comedies that actually are funny and work are a very rare breed. Not saying that ours is necessarily all that funny, but yeah, I think I'm pretty satisfied with what's been happening with festivals.
Yeah, well deserved, and I hope you get a
Yeah,
physical release soon because I think people need to see your film. I think horror
yeah,
fans
we're
will love it. Uh,
working on
Go
it.
ahead.
Yeah,
Working on it?
we're working on it. Yeah, with
Awesome.
distribution. We have some. We're almost signing a deal in the US, and we have some German speaking territories coming up. So yeah, it's kind of cool seeing we've never done anything like this before. So just
Yeah,
experiencing the sales part of the film is very new, and we're just inventing and discovering as we go.
cool. Well, it seems like you're doing everything right. And please keep me updated on a physical release because I will definitely buy one. As you can see, I'm all about physical media. Um,
Oh yeah.
let's see. So, can you speak to what's next? Will you be, can you, do you have new projects that you can talk about, or is it too soon? You're still focused
uh,
on
I'd say
chainsaws
it's
versus
too
singing.
soon.
Okay.
I'd say it's too soon, but the irony is not lost on me that it took 10 or 11 years for the film to get finished, and now
Mhm.
the selling or releasing part is also like a 2 year period.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I do have some ideas, but I have to sort of rebuild my life after it because it absolutely
Mhm.
consumed everything, and now I have to yeah just sort of get back on my feet again and then start thinking about
Sure.
next projects. I have to give a shout out, of course, to Vampire Zombies from Space
Yes.
which is a cool film.
I
You
was
interviewed Jacob. We've actually been, yeah, talking to Jacob. We might end up doing something together because our, let's say, tasting humor is very similar. We
excellent.
bonded right away. Yeah, we basically just finish each other's sentences, which is kind of weird.
That's so cool. Yeah, I was gonna give a shout out to your shirt there, Vampire Zombies from Space. I love that one. I had Jacob Scripa on. If you guys work together, that would be unbelievable. I can only imagine what you would come up with. Um, well, like I said, keep me updated on physical release and your next projects. Let's see. Do you have a favorite film of 2024 from last year?
Gosh.
I didn't even give you a warning on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. You know how I said that, oh my God, are you going to tease me with the trivia questions? So with 2024, I have, I mean, throughout my life, been a major film buff, but 2024, because of the Chainsaw's release, I think
Mhm.
I watched a totality of 10 films. That's
Mm.
it, because I just didn't have the time.
Understandable. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from 2024, gosh,
Well, you could always say your film.
an easy one would be Vampire Zombies from Space.
There you go. I love that
Yeah,
one.
I'm gonna go with that. Let's promote the
Excellent.
hell out of
Excellent. I'll let Jacob know that you said that. So instead of trivia, I put together some this or that questions. They're
it.
usually
Yes.
kind of fun. They're kind of easy, hopefully easy. There's no right or wrong answer. So there you go. No pressure. Basically, just pick one or the other. So first up,
Okay.
slasher or haunted house movie?
Slasher. Slasher. Definitely.
There you go. See, easy, no pressure. Phantom of the Paradise or Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Huh. Okay. That's a tough one.
Mm,
I like both, but I also have issues with both. Just to
okay.
come off as a hipster, I'm gonna say Phantom of Paradise. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one too. Okay, let's see. Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees?
Jason.
Jason,
Definitely
yeah.
Jason.
Yes, okay. Trick or Treat 1988, so the rock and roll Trick or Treat film, or Slumber Party Massacre with the electric driller guitar.
That's
Two.
Slumber Party Massacre 2
Yep,
with
part two,
the
yeah.
killer electric guitar, right?
The guitar,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Yes, the Slumber Party Massacre 2 was one of my favorites, and I think that even
It's
may
so
have
good.
been a major influence for the Chainsaw Solo. Just the way how coked up the entire film is, and the
Oh, I
killer
love it.
just out of the blue coming up with the solo. Yeah, so Slumber
Excellent.
Party.
Good
I don't
choice.
remember the first one actually, but the second one was really cool.
Oh yeah, the first one's good too. A little more campier. I don't know. I love them both. Let's see,
Okay,
Sweeney Todd or Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that one too. I tried to go for some like music elements here. Would you
yeah.
like to
I'm
go to?
almost
Go ahead.
yeah. I'm almost aggressive with some of these answers because they're very different approaches, and so the answers
Exactly.
come
Well,
very
yeah, no, that's fantastic. Would you like to go to a rock concert or go to a theater show?
theater show.
Okay. Let's see, Repo, the Opera, or The Lure. I don't know if you've seen both of
Yeah,
those.
you got me. I haven't seen either of them. I know
Okay.
what Repo is, but I haven't gotten around to seeing it, and I even don't know what the lure is. Can you enlighten
The
me?
Lure is, I should have done some research. It's about these two mermaids, I believe. Um, I think it might be a Swedish film. I should have looked this up.
Okay,
But it is a musical.
nice. Okay, I'm gonna
I
check
should
out.
have, I have a copy. When we stop
By the way,
recording, I'll grab a copy and I'll show you what the cover looks like.
by
Um,
the way, I'm not a huge fan of musicals per se. I think most of the musicals are like a torment upon humankind, mankind. But yeah, some of them when they're done well, then I really love them.
do you like Anna and the Apocalypse? Have you seen that?
I have seen it. I mean, I respect it, and tastes are so different. For
Of
me,
course. Hmm.
I think it could have been a bit more R-rated.
Mm.
it's sort of I don't know.
Maybe.
When we saw it with our friends, it's sort of it did all the tropes of the zombie film, which sort of felt tired. And there's a
Yeah.
couple of great songs in it. The one with the girl singing the innuendo song for Santa. That's a funny one, and the principal song.
Yes.
But
The principal's
some
funny
of it
guy. Yeah.
some of it
Mm.
felt too musical EE for me.
A
So
lot of
yeah, I
teen
have
angst
mixed
in there
feelings.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
I mean, people love it, so I'm happy for the film.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. I'm a fan. Uh, I will say I don't think I have any more musical themed questions. So there you go.
Okay.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974 or Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from 1986.
I mean, obviously the original. I'd even say, okay,
Mm.
let's rank the Texas Chainsaws. The original, of
Oh,
course,
okay.
comes
Yeah.
first.
First. Yep.
I actually the remakes were okay. I think I kind of like them
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Jessica Biel. Next, I
That.
would rank Texas Chainsaw 3D with Daddario. I think
Yes.
it was a just the
Yes.
way they it's so shamelessly. There's so much moral ambiguity there that I sort of loved it for that
Hmm.
reason alone. But
Yes.
yeah, I hate the second one, although I haven't seen it
Oh, you hate
drunk.
the second one.
So
Yeah.
yes, I hate the second one, but it could be a fun watch if I was drunk. I haven't experienced that. The fourth one
You must.
was
Yeah.
really good, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
The fourth one I did not like at all. And I
That's
think the
the one
third
with
one with
Renee Zellweger, right?
yes,
The Next
yes, yes.
Generation. Yes.
Yeah, the third one with Viggo Mortensen, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken, that one was kind of
Yep.
cool. And
Yes. And
Leatherface, I'm not a fan of the complete reboot thing, which is I think it's the last one.
yeah. Yes. Oh, the Netflix one.
Yeah, yeah.
The one they made. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they missed the mark a little bit with that one. Anyway, well, that was unplanned. I'm glad to know those are the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films you like. Um, Shaun of the Dead or Tucker and Dale versus Evil?
Oh gosh, I have to say Shaun of the Dead, although like I said, I'm sort of getting tired of the zombie genre. Back in the day when
Mm,
it came out, of course, it's a masterpiece,
it
and
was so
also
funny.
I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of Edgar Wright and all the stuff, the Hot Fuzz and the stuff that they've done together.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
yeah, Tucker and Dale is also kind of cool. So yeah, I
It's
love
so funny. Okay.
both of this Sean.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Lastly, Jaws or Halloween 1978.
Oh, that's another tough one. Um, I think it sounds like heresy. Um, I love Jaws, and also I respect the original Halloween film, but I'm not necessarily a fan of the original. I know it's heresy. I shouldn't say it, but which one I would
Oh my
watch
gosh.
again? I'm gonna say Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because I think it has better rewatchability. But then again, I haven't seen Jaws for over 10 years, so
Mhm.
uh,
No, no, I think
yeah.
that's fair. And most usually say that Jaws is the better film, but Halloween is more rewatchable. Um, so
Yeah,
there you have
but
it.
I always okay, so the guy who played the Tom character in the film, we watched the Halloween films together, and we were basically just pissed off at Jamie Lee Curtis's character because there's a there's like a morality in horror films where if you don't kill
Right.
the killer when you get a chance, you basically deserve to die. And Jamie
Mhm.
Lee's character just makes the same mistake all over again. In the end
Mhm.
of Halloween one, basically he stabs Mike Michael with a like
Yep.
a I don't know something I don't recall what it is or I don't know the English word for it. Basically, he stabs him and then turns around and starts crying like just right there and naturally she gets attacked again and then
Yeah.
I think she
Mhm.
makes the same mistake all over again. So in terms of just character believability, I had a major issue with it.
Yeah.
But again,
I could see that.
all respect goes to the film, of course. Fun
Yep. I
fact, by
love
the
it.
way, I did have a similar moment in Chainsaws where the Maria character gets to attack Killer once she gets tries to escape in the first half of the film.
Yes.
And basically, there's a moment where she hits Killer, and then she looks around and she just keeps on hitting Killer, because that's what a normal person would do. You wouldn't just run away and have the killer sort of start attacking you again. So that was I did that intention.
Because they always come back, right? They come back in that final moment. But yeah, I think you make a valid point there, and it happens a lot in horrors, especially some of the classics, right? Um,
Yeah.
well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. Congratulations again on your film, Chainsaws Were Singing. My last question for you is, how can folks find you and your film on social media?
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. Of course, we're basically on all the platforms. Just Google Chainsaws Were Singing, and we're on Instagram, Facebook, I think TikTok even, and Twitter or X. I have to give one final shout out. If you're interested in horror comedy musicals, I'd say the three best I've ever seen are, of course, Little Shop, then Cannibal the musical, Trey Parker's first film, and then there's a lesser known film called Nudist Colony of the Dead. Have you seen it?
I have not.
It's from
No, what year is it?
1991. It's from 1991. It's by Mark Pirro, who did Polish Vampire in Burbank and sort of trashy films like that. But yeah, it's a very cool, campy horror adventure. There's not so much nudity in it, but yeah, it's a very fun film. So Nudist Colony of the Dead, and I would suggest you check out the original version, not the restored version with the widescreen release, because I don't know, there's some magic was lost with the remastering. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
cool. Man, I love movie
recommendation.
I'm going to check that out. First, I'm going to see if I own it, because stranger things have happened.
Wow.
And if not, I will get a copy. Yes, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me, and congrats on your film.
Yeah. Thanks.
Awesome.
I hope to talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, man, keep me updated. I'd love to have you on again in the future. If you're watching, like and subscribe, because it helps our channel. And thanks again for joining.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye.